Title: You Messed with the Wrong Landowner, Part 1. The call that changed everything. The chainsaw roared to life in my hands, its metallic growl ripping through the early morning quiet like thunder on a still lake. Sparks flew as the first power line snapped loose, whipping through the air like a vengeful snake. I barely blinked. The board members of the West Ridge Community Association stood at the edge of my property, frozen, their smug faces melting into expressions of sheer horror. I could hear them yelling, something about consequences, about legality, but I didn't stop. They'd trespassed on my land, installed illegal infrastructure, and now they were going to learn what happens when you underestimate the wrong man. 3 days earlier, none of this was even on my radar. It was a Friday morning. I was on my porch with a hot mug of black coffee, enjoying the breeze rolling through my 5 acres of peaceful, rural land on the edge of town. This place was my sanctuary, quiet, untouched, and most importantly, beyond the reach of suburban HOA madness. At least, I thought it was. That's when my best friend, Dave, called. "Yo, Eric," he said, his voice half laughing. "You know there's a damn power pole in your backyard?" I sat up. "What?" "Dead serious, man. You better come take a look." 5 minutes later, I was standing on the far edge of my property, staring at a massive steel pole planted deep into my soil, with power lines crisscrossing my land like a spiderweb. Bright orange flags stuck in the dirt red. Community Grid Access, WRC Association. I hadn't signed off on anything. I hadn't even been notified. And now they were just here. Part 2. The uninvited guest. I was still fuming when a golf cart kicked up dust on the dirt road leading toward me. A slim man in a polo shirt and khakis stepped out like he was arriving at a golf tournament instead of someone else's property. "Beautiful day, neighbor," he chirped as I stared. "Who are you?" My apologies," he said, extending a hand I didn't shake. "I'm Curtis Langley, president of the West Ridge Community Association." My jaw clenched. "I assume you noticed the new installation," he added. "It's for the greater good. Improves energy efficiency for everyone." "You put power lines on my land," I said coldly. "Without permission." Curtis gave a dismissive wave. "It's not a big deal. Just a small strip of unused land. I'm sure you understand." I took a deep breath. "No, I understand perfectly. You're trespassing." His grin faltered. "Let's not get dramatic." "Oh, I'm being measured," I replied. He laughed, like I was some kid throwing a tantrum. "Come on. You're not seriously thinking about making this into a whole thing, are you? What are you going to do, sue us?" I didn't answer. I just turned and walked away. Part 3. Planning the response. Back inside, I pulled out my laptop. A couple hours of research later, and I had everything I needed. I called Lisa Moreno, my lawyer from when I first bought the land. After I explained what happened, she let out a low whistle. "They screwed up," she said. "No easement, no notice, no approval. That's blatant trespassing and illegal utility installation. You can sue. Or, can I remove them myself?" I asked. There was a pause. "Technically, yes. You own the land. You have the right to remove anything installed without permission." That was all I needed to hear. Part 4. Taking back what's mine. The next morning, I rented equipment and hired a crew. Dave pulled up as I revved the chainsaw, holding a box of donuts and a thermos of coffee. "You're actually doing this?" he asked, eyes wide. "They didn't ask for permission when they put it up," I said. "So I'm not asking for permission to take it down." He laughed. "God, I love this country." The first cut was electric, literally. Thick cables snapped and fell, hissing as it struck the earth. The crew started unbolting the poles. I kept moving, tearing down line after line. Then the HOA showed up, Curtis leading the charge. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he shouted. "Fixing your mistake," I said, wiping sweat from my brow. "You're cutting off power to the entire subdivision." "Not my problem," I replied. "You'll be fined. You'll be sued." Curtis screamed. I pulled out my phone and showed him the legal docs Lisa had sent. "Nope. You're trespassing. And I could sue you." His mouth opened, then closed. He had nothing. One final chainsaw roar later, the last line fell. The neighborhood went dark. Dave let out a loud whoop. That's what I call justice. Part 5. Retaliation and counterattack. The next day, a letter showed up on my door. HOA letterhead. A $20,000 fine. Dave burst out laughing. They've lost it. You don't even live in their jurisdiction. Exactly, I said. No legal standing. So I hit them where it hurt. I called Lisa and asked, can I sell utility rights to a third party? Her response was instant. Absolutely. Within 48 hours, I had a deal with a private energy company. They paid me a 5-figure sum up front and would now charge the HOA for every foot of power line that needed to cross my land. It was poetic justice. When Curtis found out, he showed up at my front door again. This time, he looked like he hadn't slept in days. You can't do this, he snapped as I sipped my coffee. Pretty sure I can. You're holding the neighborhood hostage. No, I'm exercising my rights. Just like you tried to do. Only I read the law first. Part 6. Collapse of the kingdom. The next few weeks were chaos. The HOA tried to renegotiate with the power company. No dice. They tried to go through the city. Lisa handed them the original deed. The final straw came when 2 board members tried sneaking onto my land at night to reconnect the power lines. I turned on the floodlights, stepped onto my porch with my shotgun, and smiled. Evening, gentlemen. Care to explain why you're trespassing? They ran like scared rabbits. The next morning, I sent the footage to Lisa. She forwarded it to the city. The HOA got hit with a massive fine. Their power, literal and political, was gone. Part 7. The fall of Curtis Langley. Soon after, residents started asking questions. Why were their power bills skyrocketing? Why were their HOA dues being misused? Turns out, Curtis and his crew had been funneling funds for personal perks, resort retreats, luxury office upgrades, and wellness stipends. A community forum post exposed everything. Screenshots, documents, spreadsheets. Dave showed up at my place, phone in hand. You're gonna love this, he said. The neighborhood had turned. People were calling for a vote to remove the board. Some even wanted to dissolve the HOA entirely. The emergency meeting. Curtis tried to shift the blame on me. This all started because of one landowner but no one bought it. The vote was swift and brutal. Part 8. Legacy and freedom. A week later, Lisa called. You'll like this, she said. The HOA board officially dissolved today. I grinned. That didn't take long. They're switching to a voluntary community council, she added. Also, your name came up. I nearly spit out my drink. What? Yeah. Some residents want you to run it. I laughed. Not a chance. You're a legend now. I didn't want to be on any board. I liked my peace. Best of all, the private energy company continued paying me monthly for access rights. Passive income, legally earned, off the land they once tried to steal from me. Epilogue. Peace earned. That weekend, we had a barbecue in my backyard. Dave, a few friends, burgers on the grill, beers in hand. No HOA reps, no warnings about fire pits. Just peace. You know, Dave said, clinking his bottle against mine. This could be a movie. Man takes down the HOA, wins the war. I smirked. And the best part? I didn't even have to break the law. We laughed. Somewhere out there, Curtis Langley was probably still fuming. But me? I was finally free.